Warning. The following program is rated E for elitist. If you're prone to rage-induced seizures, suffer from the inability to appreciate sarcasm, spend most of your free time on Tumblr, or think that The Beautiful People is a goth anthem, immediately turn this episode off and proceed to your nearest medical professional. For everyone who hasn't been diagnosed with a case of the butt hurts, prepare for the year's most epic bitch fest. Today, the internet stands trial for its crimes against goth. All shall kneel and prepare for judgment before the mighty Gothquisition.
You are listening to Cemetery Confessions, the world's #1 goth talk podcast.
Welcome to the third annual Gothquisition. As always, I have assembled the Goth Cabal, a conclave of arrogant, elitist, gatekeeping goth purists prepared to bitch slap the internet and read you to filth. These are the kinds of goths whose only Black Friday is the day after Halloween, whose only claim to health goth is skipping a cigarette break when Sisters B-sides come on at the club, who have literally killed a cybergoth by death rock, who make obscure references on the internet and then scoff at everyone who doesn't get the joke, and who would say to the fans of that greasy pirate from New York, quote, "It is difficult to free fools from the chains they revere."
Shots
yes,
fired.
I just insulted Voltaire with a quote from Voltaire. Try to keep up. Together, they are a wealth of scornful glances that can reduce baby bats to ash, and they're here to save goth from itself.
For the third time, again. You keep doing it. Why do we have to keep coming back? Really, people?
Get the hint. We've got a bit of a lineup change this year, so let's jump into introductions and let you know who is on the Gothquisition. So with that, tell us who you are and why we should care. Jez, why don't we start with you?
I am Jez Smith. I'm probably the oldest fart here, so I assume that I am here to be the old vote in the Gothquisition. I'm waving my cane. I'm yelling, "Get off my lawn!" I was in a book that Andy and Marlou did called "The Somewhere Leather, Somewhere Lace." So yes, you have verifiable proof that goth since before some of y'all was born, that kind of shit. So that I believe is why I'm here. So get off my lawn.
Andy, what about you?
Is this my second or third year? I can't even remember.
This is your third, yeah.
Oh,
you were one of the original.
Wow, okay. Well, if anybody doesn't know, I wrote the book Somewhere Leather, Somewhere Lace, and I'm a writer in New York City, and I DJ and lecture, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Very humble of you. But you write for postpunk.com and run a lot of really good nights. Yeah.
Yeah, I write a lot for Bandcamp.
Mark, why don't you briefly introduce yourself? Co-host to the
humble co-host.
The coming co-host.
Yes, I drink a lot, and yeah, this is obviously my third year. I've been with the podcast since 2014. It's been like 3 years now, something like that.
Yeah. And then the new
Did I mention I drink?
Edition this year, standing. Yep, we've heard. Me too. A little too early though. I'm only drinking coffee at the moment. Our new stand-in this month for our Queen of Goth, may she rest in peace. She'll be back next year, though. She's not dead. Is Danny. Danny, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm dead.
Hey, so I'm Danny, and I'm from LA, and I am a vinyl collector and clothing collector, and aspiring DJ. So yeah, and I'm in a band. We're called Small Planets, and I play around LA a lot.
Joe, I'm saving you for last because I don't know what dumb shit you're going to do.
Oh, you just wait. No one expects the third Gothquisition!
Our main weapons are fear, surprise, elitism.
Yes!
I've actually never seen that movie or any of those movies.
You have to be kidding, no.
Yeah, sorry,
What
guys.
the hell? And you call yourself a nerd. This is the difference between an American nerds and everyone else.
I'll self-flatulate for penance when we're done.
Flatulate or flagellate?
Flagellate, yeah.
Depends
No,
if
you're
he's
right.
an industrial fan or not.
I think in this context they're interchangeable.
I get a bit farty when I whip myself, so it's...
Just wanted to mention also, I am an artist, and you can find my stuff on Studio 777 on Etsy. So people know that we exist outside of the Gothquisition, so they can actually track us down and then bitch at us because now they can find us on the internet.
Hell yeah.
But they should already know we exist outside the Gothquisition because we're on the Gothquisition.
Yeah, they've got our posters at clubs and stuff.
Oh my god. No.
Don't let these people in. If you see them.
No, you must let these people in, otherwise they will judge you from the outside, not the inside. You want them to judge you from the inside because at least they're going to be judging you on what is actually there.
As opposed to shit we made up outside because you wouldn't let us in.
Damn right we would make shit up from the outside if they wouldn't let us in. Your club is crap. Why? Because they wouldn't let me in. Full stop.
All right, well, Joe, why don't you introduce yourself, and I'll grab Zachary's whenever she pops in.
Right. I guess people are expecting me to sing a silly little song or have some stupid little Australian quote because I'm Dinky Dio Australian and all that, but I'm not doing it. Do you know why I'm not doing it? Because you listeners don't deserve it. You have to earn this shit from me. But I will tell you all about the things I do. The newest thing I have online is a page on Facebook called Elitist Joe, where I depart my wonderful wisdom to you all. As well as this, I have various things like I organise
I'm gonna
events,
take a
I
smoke
DJ
break.
events, I'm a musician. In fact, one of the events, one of the projects I do called Hypnophile had a live gig a couple of months back where I proceeded to bang on metal objects with dildos for half of it.
That's awesome.
It's called performance art, people. Look it up.
Oh my god.
All right, thank God. All right, so I hope everybody has a towel with them because we're about to shove our collective winkle pickers up the internet's ass. Here we go. First news article is from a website that apparently I am the only person here that enjoys, which is the Gothic Amino app. And someone actually took the time to write us a letter. I don't think they did it on purpose, but specifically for the Gothquisition, they wrote in, so I'm going to take it as a fan letter. And this is titled, Real Talk to Elitists.
Oh, shit.
So they... Sorry.
That's the part two, the son of the night of the sequel to Real Talk to It. I mean, it's like every time. Okay,
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
All right, so they start by saying, I am a goth and I do not listen to goth music.
Then you're not a goth.
What a loser.
Conversation over. Next.
This is going to be our shortest episode ever.
Not goth. Get it out. Not goth. Get it out. All right, we're done here.
Bye, bitch.
Additionally, I know next to nothing about it. Instantly, I already know that there are people out there who are considering me a fake, a poser, a baby bat, or just straight up ignorant and rude to goth culture. Yes, and correct, and yes.
You're a little slow on the uptake, aren't you?
But let me explain to you why you are not necessarily right. All right, we're going to get a lesson here, everybody. Here we go.
Oh, shit.
I firmly believe that there are two main classifications for goth. I am not talking about your aesthetic style when I say this, i.e. cyber goth or Victorian goth.
God.
I am saying that there are
Okay.
two distinct ways in which people become goth. The real way, and then the one I made up so that I could call myself goth, as I'm assuming what she's going to say.
So true.
So she says, first, those of you who got into it through the 1970s music scene, whether directly or indirectly, and those who got involved in some other way, or who have always been darkly inclined and discovered that goth is the best way to sum themselves up. All right, so
Okay,
the following...
just because you like Tim Burton does not mean you're goth. Like, sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
okay?
And apparently 1970s was the only time goth music was made, I guess, but...
Yeah.
No, she's still not there. All right, so here's her reasoning. First, everyone boils the goth subculture down to one thing: music. Why? Because the majority of people who are goth nowadays learned to be how they are through said music. The subculture of today...
That's because it's a music subculture.
The subculture of today really
Do the math.
did take off in the 1970s with the creation of the Batcave and certain bands which played there.
That was not the 1970s.
No.
Hey,
Yeah.
bye. Bye. No.
Well, you know, in
just
her mind,
about
it's
that,
ancient history. So, you know, basically, 1970s, 1700s, it's all the same, right?
Yeah. And also here, I would point out, this is one of the things I think we all agree on, is that we agree that, or I would say, music is necessary, but not the entirety of goth. There's a bunch of stuff that comes together to make up goth, and you have to have all those elements.
I think music
and
is the heart, though.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
and yeah, we
The core.
yeah, yes. But to say, like, I think when people say all you need to be goth is to listen to goth music, I don't think that's accurate. Like, you know, what's that meme that went around with the guy in the cowboy hat and said he's at a Bauhaus concert, he's goth, right?
Goth y'all.
Hey now.
Hey,
All right,
now,
so-
now.
So, so she says, I don't know if it's a she, but they say, however, there is a
Depends on
major
the cowboy hat.
major flaw in this logic. Don't get, the logic of the Batcave starting in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you are incorrect. I'm just saying that it is easy to miss the rest of what goth is. Goth is a fascination with darker things in life. It is the way we think. It is who we are. It is our personality and way of life.
Got it the
We
first time.
are more than just music and more than just the clothing we wear. We are what we like and how we behave. There is more to us than just music, and this is where the second type of goth comes into it.
Hang
God,
on,
okay.
so goth is
Can't
a
even.
behaviour?
We are what we like.
That's a new one.
Can't
goth
even.
is
I like
a
sushi.
behaviour.
Yeah, I mean, my argument is that goth is both of those things together. That it
Yeah.
is, like, your behaviors, of course, your behaviors reflect, like, your ideologies and
Yeah, but
what
goth
music
is
you're
not
into.
actually a
Yes,
behaviour.
yeah, correct,
You
yeah.
cannot behave goth.
Yeah.
Although we...
That's
certainly
right
try.
up there
There
with
is the
somebody
movie
who feels
stereotype.
goth.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does
I-
one
I-
feel goth?
Exactly.
Well, obviously you guys are all posers if you just don't feel goth, so...
Does one feel goth by taking a lungful of clove smoke?
You know, every so often
I
when
feel
I get
cancer.
that not so goth feeling,
There you go! Feeling goth is feeling cancer!
no, that's not the way it works. But come on now, basically this seems like a very elaborate justification for I didn't like the goth music that I heard, but I really want to like wear the clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
gonna make
you gotta let me
everything
be
bigger
goth.
than the music.
Yeah, you can't, like, my argument is you can't pick and choose what you want to be goth and what you don't want to be goth.
Yeah.
Like, so, sure, there's a
argument, though. I mean, we come up against it every single damn day. It's like, oh, Rihanna's goth now. Did you hear? No. Just because you wear dark lipstick, you're not goth. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, you can you can argue there's a like cultural ontology or like a personality or mindset that comes along with goth, but that's comes from everything, from cultural ephemera to like scene values and semiotics and that kind of thing. And part of that is the music. You can't just throw that out, especially something so fundamental. Like I don't think any serious scholar argues that goth could exist today without the music scene.
Yeah.
So
it's a music subculture. It has to have the music.
You know, she's arguing for, oh, well, I like dark films, I like dark books, I like dark this. I just don't like the dark music. So it's like, why would you make that exception and still consider it to be...
Well, that's why you have to have the music there to pull it together, because if you just say, well, I'm into death, well, so are a bunch of other cultures, but they all have their own distinct...
So are morticians.
Yeah, there's a whole community of
horror
morticians
movie
and
fans,
deaf people.
Dark romantics.
Yeah. All right, so you guys...
It all goes back to one thing that she did mention in that article is, back in the day, we didn't necessarily call ourselves goth. It wasn't a term that was in. Okay, that's not what we were called. So I think a lot of people are just getting hung up on this word goth. And so, but it is so, people work so hard to try and identify what they're doing, no matter how small, whether it be, ooh, I'm wearing black, I'm so goth. Ooh, I'm wearing dark lipstick, I'm so goth. I listened to a Sisters of Mercy song, just one, and I thought it was okay, so am I goth now? It's like, guys, for whatever reason, good, bad, indifferent, the word goth has come to primarily mean this entire subculture, and the music is part and parcel of that. You can't just separate it all out. And people are thinking, oh, well, but if I only like, if I like to wear black and read Frankenstein and watch horror movies, am I goth? It's like, you have to take a look at how this evolved and what happened and how it is the way that it is. And it was intrinsically developed, this culture. I mean, being able to go down the street unharmed most of the time was because of those of us who started off in the beginning getting shit for dressing like weirdos and listening to our weird ass music. That's the only reason that you can have purple hair and in your desk job. That's the only reason that you can have tattoos. All this stuff has been normalized over like 40 years now of us doing that. So it's like telling us that the subculture that we were there for in the inception, and okay, it's got to be our way now because that's not the way that works.
God, you are such an elitist.
I know. That's why I'm here.
Get off my
you
lawn,
and your
you
knowledge.
bastards.
Yes, I'm waving my cane right now.
Hell yeah.
And it's
All right.
black, skull topped.
You guys are going to love this next sentence. Goth has been around for hundreds of years.
No.
Okay.
God damn it, they're on to us.
Someone laying claim to the creation of goth subculture just because of the 1970s music scene are just as ignorant as what the elitists call baby bats when they don't listen to the music. At best, these people can lay claim to having popularized and caused growth in those who call themselves goth. They did not create goth in any way.
This is a problem. She's confusing gothic and goth.
Exactly.
They're not interchangeable.
Yeah, I have a whole video about this, which I'll put in the show notes, but that's asinine.
Yeah.
Again, it's all terminology. It's like, why? I don't know.
She obviously hasn't been on Wikipedia enough, so.
Oh, this is going to get good. By looking up the definition of the word, I was able to come across the following answer.
God.
So she Googled once to write this article, I guess.
Good. I'm glad.
All right, Gothic of or well, she Googled the wrong word in the first place, so Gothic of
or she Googled the exact word that gave her the meaning she wanted.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yep. Motivated reasoning is what that's called. Joining us now should be Zachary. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go.
Zachary.
Yes! Hang on,
All right.
I just loaded the thing.
All I have to say is thank whoever had that squeaky door because they just obviously entered from their crypt, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
So, Zachary, we're into an article already, but why don't you quickly tell us, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and why we should care.
I haven't lit a cigarette yet. The pressure. I am the bitch of Goth, thank you. Writer for Living the Strange Life. Why should you care? I am your everything.
That's all we need to know. All right, so here we go. We're looking up the word. We're Googling words to find out why all of us are wrong about goth. So here we go. Gothic. Of or pertaining to a literary style of fiction prevalent in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, which emphasizes the grotesque, mysterious, and desolate, a Gothic novel. So she says, yes, Gothic take a fucking literature or architecture or history class. Oh, wait, no, I wrote this. Wait, what?
I was like, I don't know what you're reading.
I was so angry, I was writing my own notes. Yeah, so she yes, take a fucking literature, or architecture, or history class. Goth.
Yeah.
We're talking about goth here, not Gothic. They're distinct from each other. All right.
Yeah.
So she says Edgar Allan Poe, born in 1809, is definitely someone I would consider goth.
Shut up. So fucking annoying.
I am not the only one, and this I know as a fact. Everyone
No,
else
Mark agrees with me.
Opinion.
What I want to know is why are people so obsessed with taking historical figures and retroactively calling them goth? Poe was a product of his time. If anything, he created
And alcohol.
pop culture with a dark twist in his time. So in a way, he's no different to people like Stephen King, Clive Barker, H.R. Geiger, or even John Carpenter. I don't see anyone calling them goth.
Well, let me tell you why you're wrong. Everyone classes his writing as Gothic, both because of this writing style and the period in which it was written.
And at the time, Gothic was pop culture.
He certainly did not listen to the Batcave music. How could he? She literally says, how could he? It was not even created. Yeah, no shit.
Whoa, mind
Talking
blown.
about a straw man argument here. Does this make him less goth? Maybe he is less goth because he did not dress like a goth. But everyone's always saying goth is more than just aesthetics. So is he or is he not a goth?
He's not goth.
This is the goddamn 1800s.
That's them making the argument that Edgar Allan Poe is Goth.
Yes.
He's
Are
a
you
pop
fucking serious?
culture creator. He's not a goth.
You missed,
feel like
Zachary, you
through
missed
this-
it. The sentence before, paragraph before that, she said.
If anything, he's like adamant.
She said goth existed
He's the
200 years
dandy
ago.
highwayman.
I feel like the Gary Jules version of Mad World should be like playing in the background while reading this because it's just so depressing.
All right, so what does Gothic mean in regards to the group of people? Here is where it gets confusing because you're making this all up is probably why it's confusing. There are things that many goths like that are not Gothic. Examples are industrial or classical music.
God.
There are things that are Gothic that many goths dislike. Vampires' interest in death.
What?
This
Yeah.
article is so bad.
This
I'm
makes
starting
no
to drink
sense.
alcohol again.
There are things that some people think are Gothic that are not Gothic, bands like
my
Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails. And there are things that do not call themselves Gothic, even if they are considered Gothic by most people.
Oh my
Sisters
God,
of
that was-
Mercy and Dead Can Dance.
I want to punch
fuck?
somebody.
Dead Can Dance is like world beat. Like, okay.
And this, yeah, I mean, this is why we have to have cultural boundaries, because otherwise if everything's just permeable, then you can't have a discussion. You can't have this you can't figure out what goth is through that dialectical nature, that discussion nature of goth, the discourse about what it means to be goth. You can just say, this is this thing because I want it to be, and this is that thing, and nothing means anything. Just because I think she's making this argument that it's confusing, but it's because she's making it confusing.
Yep.
All right, so where am I? All right, however, there's no grand Gothic judge to decree what is truly goth and what is not, although there have been plenty of people who claim to be it, and we're right here. So you're wrong again.
Yes. Yes. We clocked in. We're crucified.
It is an ambiguous label with many people using it that don't understand what it means. Oh, like you.
Yeah, such as yourself.
The people who do understand it often have many different definitions.
No.
We're pretty consistent.
There may be different nuances, but the general definition's pretty much the same.
Yeah, and that's not a good argument either, because so you're saying some people get something wrong, therefore it doesn't mean anything.
You're not going to get the same definition from two people, but
there
are a lot of things they will generally agree on.
I can tell you that the Earth is flat, but that doesn't mean I'm not objectively wrong. And just because I say the Earth is flat doesn't therefore mean, well, who knows if the world is round? This guy says it's not, so,
Yeah, but you might be saying the world is flat and goth is about music, and someone else might be saying goth is about music and Trump's a dickhead. They're still getting something right.
All right, so her final summary is this. I am a goth. I am not a goth because of the music, and I do not need to listen to the music to be a goth. I am not a lesser goth than any of you who read this because of the fact that I am under no obligation to learn about the music to remain a goth. Goth is what I make it. Goth is what I make of it because goth is more than music and more than literature. Those are just parts of it. Both parts are equally acceptable, and again, one is not lesser than the other.
Okay, no, you cannot sign yourself up to be a spokesperson for goth and then, outright reject a huge part of it.
She literally says, "These are, no one can tell me what goth is, but I can tell you what goth is."
What you make of it.
Just because you, I'm thinking of The Office where Michael Scott comes out and screams, "I declare bankruptcy." Just because
oh my god
doesn't mean that it's real.
I declare gothness.
So cute. Yeah.
By the power of Grayskull, I have the Gothic.
I was born to be goth because it is my mindset and my beliefs, my likes and my dislikes. And you can say, you can be sure that I will not be saying, quote, "You cannot be a real goth if you do not read this." Like I see so many people saying, "You cannot be a real goth if you know nothing about the music from the Batcave era."
Well, and the sad thing about this is that she's completely, with her statements, she's cut herself off. She's like, I don't like goth music. I don't have to like goth music. I don't have to try to like goth music. I'm just goth because I want to be, And so she's just being as elitist in her own way, although incorrectly so, and just totally prejudiced against a vital, the founding part of the current subculture. So it's like, no, that's just wrong. I'm sorry. Your statement is incorrect.
She's
period.
being ignorantus.
Yeah, and the thing is like she's throwing a tantrum about it. It's like, no, you can't make me like the music. I don't want to like the music. I'm not even going to try to like the music.
But she doesn't even mention what music she actually listens to. So
because it doesn't matter, apparently.
Yeah.
She keeps contradicting herself. This is my problem with what you just said, is that she says it's her mindset, but your mindset and your beliefs necessarily presuppose an underlying structure. So like your mindset comes from a music genre, and that genre drew on Gothic literature, like she mentions, expressionist films, kabuki theatrics, existential philosophers, art movements, and a bunch of other stuff. And that's the layering that goes like that. You can't just rewrite history. I know this is Trump's America, but facts matter, goddammit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, so to
well, hang on, is it more like one of those stupid Shrek things with onions having layers?
She claims to love all this stuff except for the music, and yet all this music was based off of the stuff that she loves. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not explore that? Why not try to find the music within the subculture that she supposedly is just so passionate about?
Wait, going back though.
She's like, no, I don't wanna. You.
I really want to think about goth. I don't want to actually explore it. No.
Go ahead,
Well,
Danny.
she obviously knows who, like, Sisters of Mercy and Dead Can Dance are, and, like, Manson and Nine Inch Nails, so that's probably, like, the only music that she has listened to. And probably was just like, no, not into this, and then just wrote it off.
Yeah.
But there's, like, so much more than just those four, which two of which aren't even considered goth, so...
Yeah. Last little bit here. Even if you claim to not be an elitist, no, we're definitely claiming to be elitists. When you say something like that, I think you are being very exclusive. Not everyone is like you. Not everyone is a goth because of the music. I am a goth because of the people I grew up with and what I have experienced in my life. Culture by necessity is fucking exclusive. There's no getting around that. That's what gives it meaning and purpose. That's what creates community. It's necessarily guided by some structure, and that necessitates some degree of exclusivity. That's just how it is. If you don't like it, then take your ball and go home. Like, get the fuck out.
We have our thing, you have your thing. They are different. They are not the same.
Maybe, and the thing is I'm of a different era, but maybe this is the whole gold star participation. Oh, if you try hard enough, you get a gold star or a black star. In this particular case, you get to be goth just because you really, really want to be. No, that's not the way it works. Sorry, honey.
I wish she would have said what she does listen to. I'm like, really curious.
Me too.
Taylor Swift.
Well, she
message
probably
her on
listens
Amino.
to Lana Del Rey and like the sad kid music.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Like, we've seen this type of person before, the 20-something who comes into a place that has somewhat established boundaries of a culture and says, oh, I'm only going to pick and choose the parts that I like, pass myself off as a spokesperson because the majority of my demographic doesn't know any better, and then completely dismantle everything and receive all the accolades for it. So, I mean, for the first sentence, they say, I know next to nothing about it. So how can you even begin this conversation? Like, go fuck yourself.
Because this is the internet.
On the internet, everyone's an expert, even if they don't know jack shit.
All right.
And if you call out somebody for being wrong, you're a hater.
It's that time.
I'd rather be a hater than a fucking poser.
It's that time of the episode. You are going to vote on the torture device that is assigned to this author. And once the votes are in, I'll read the description of whichever one you guys pick. So we have three options. The first is the tub. The second is the heretic's fork. And the third is coffin torture.
Heretic's fork.
Yeah,
Coffin torture.
I'm thinking tub, because that just reminds me of waterboarding, and that's so scary.
All right,
Fork,
we've got one of these.
It's like a horror movie. Fear.
I'll go with the tub.
Fork.
And Joe, what's your vote?
The tub.
All right, so that's 3 for the tub. Maybe Heretic's Fork will make a return at some point.
All right,
the
fine.
tub, known as the punishment of sitting in the tub. That's not so bad. The convicted person would be placed in a wooden tub with only their head sticking out. After that, the executioner would paint their faces with milk and honey, and soon flies would begin to feed on them.
No.
The victim was also fed regularly and would end up swimming in their excrement. After a few days, maggots and worms would devour their body as they decayed alive.
That is so cool.
You shall experience the tub.
They'd have to be chained in or something.
Oh, God.
What a stinky way to die.
Sticky and stinky.
All right, so...
Sticky and sticky, yes.
And sticky. We're going to jump into the quiz here, but first we're going to take a music break.
You'll never know me.
So here we go. You may have thought that the Goth Points quiz on the first Gothquisition, see what I did there, was the most comprehensive gauntlet to weed out the posers from the true cult goths. But this year, I've outdone myself, and we will truly discover who the deepest, darkest goth of all time is. So to prepare to eat your heart out, Edgar Allan, here we go.
God.
Now, I'll tell you, there is a twist to this quiz, which, I gotta pull up a notepad so I can take points here, which you guys will probably figure out pretty quickly as we go through here. But I'm going to mark down Mark, Jez, Andy, Joe, Danny, Zach. All right, so I will be keeping score. There are two different parts of this quiz. First part is multiple choice, and then there's a flash round. So here we go. The first question. All right, you're talking to this idiot who insists Marilyn Manson is the most important goth of all time. How do you respond? 1. Laugh in his face and walk away while blocking him on all social media. 2. Spend the next 4 hours debating the history of goth music. 3. Pee on his Crocs. Or 4. Agree with him and give him a $35 reward for being so insightful.
Or 5. Say, shut up, Joe.
Exactly. Shut up, Joe. 2, 4, and 5, I would say.
Wait, what was the first one again?
The first one was laugh in his face and walk away while blocking him on all social media.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that one. 1.
Zach? Zachary, which? 1, 2, 3, 4?
What was B?
2 was spend the next 4 hours debating the history of goth music.
Oh no, wait. My friend is saying I should pick that one.
Okay, Joe, what's your answer?
5. That idiot is me.
The one that Mark made up that will definitely not get you points. Okay, Mark, what was yours?
Okay, what was 3 and 4?
3 was pee on his Crocs, and 4 was...
By the way, great book, by the way.
Agree with...
Somewhere they go and buy it, you plebs.
Thanks. Everybody go buy it.
Yeah, it's the...
Buy it, you damn dirty apes.
We can make it the official book of the Gothquisition and Cemetery Confessions,
awesome.
I think.
Okay.
Agree with him and give him a $35 reward for being so insightful was the correct answer, so no points.
I will pee on his Crocs.
All right, question number 2.
Yeah, hey, I got 2, 4, and 5, so I was kind of right.
In the history of goth, which apparently now includes the last 500 years, according to the last article, what retailer?
A lot of history.
What retailer has had the most authentic, innovative, and relevant impact on the culture? 1. Alchemy Gothic. 2. Hot Topic. 3. Vampire Freaks. Or 4. Lip Service.
Lip service.
Lip service.
Yeah, I'll go with lip service.
5. Killstar.
The correct, and I would have taken either Hot Topic or Vampire Freaks. You guys are all posers. Moving on to the next question.
What the?
Next question. How do you feel about school shootings?
No Killstar. What the hell?
How do you
Has
feel?
YouTube taught you nothing?
I watch Black Friday all the time, so I know Killstar's good.
Oh my god,
But
bye.
it wasn't on the list.
Speaking of shootings, I want to shoot Daniel now.
Hopefully you guys are going to pick up on the twist of this pretty quickly
Yes,
here. All right, next
get
question.
it.
You had the girl who wrote the article write the quiz, didn't you?
How do you feel about school shootings? 1, they are tragic. 2, those kids shouldn't have been bullies. 3, we need gun reform. 4, goths should do what they can to cull the preponderance of normies.
Oh my god.
I'll take 5.
I know what you want me to say, but I don't care.
I'm just gonna say 4, just for the hell of it.
I'll just
If
say
they were
thoughts and
playing
prayers,
golf,
thoughts
I
and
would say
prayers.
4, and I will say 4 that they were using guns.
All right, cool. We got some points on the board now. Next question. Which axiomatic philosophy undergirds the popularity of black in the goth aesthetic? 1. Absurdism. 2. Nihilism. 3. Sturm und Drang. 4. The devil because goths worship Satan.
4.
2.
Hail Stan!
Dan. No, hail Satin, honey.
Satin,
Stan!
the softest
The
of fabrics.
silkiest of fabrics. Stan!
All right, we got
Satan
some more
is
points. Next question. What is the most important sartorial idiom at a goth's disposal? 1. DIY. 2. Appropriated religious symbology. 3. Leather and lace. 4. Self-mutilation.
Self-mutilation.
I'm gonna go with 2.
The
I'm gonna go
answer
with
to every
2.
question is just 4, isn't it? 4.
All right, next question.
And Joe has cracked the code.
What is
You're not even
goth?
trying, man.
What
Mix
is
them
goth?
up.
Here we go. What is goth? Well, the answers are long, so I was...
Don't hurt me.
Number 1, a structural resonance of multiple necessary and sufficient core ephemera. 2, a music genre. 3, a fashion sense. 4, a group of elitists that lived in the Dark Ages, but also goth is whatever you want it to be. So if you think about it, we're all actually goths.
Oh, definitely 4.
Yeah, I'm with
The
Mark.
elitist one where everyone can be goth if they want to because we say so and shit.
And unicorns.
And unicorns,
Alright.
yes!
My coffee is goth.
Rainbow Twinkie fluid.
Next question. Why are you a goth? 1, I was born this way. 2, it comports with my identity and social tribe. 3, it looks cool. 4, because Lord Satan demanded a blood sacrifice and I listened to that after I listened to that one Slayer album.
I'm number 3.
One!
I'll add 5 to get chicks.
Woo! How's that working for you?
I'm met with mixed results.
Okay.
He gets beaten up by metalheads and called a faggot.
All right, next question. Who is Peter Murphy? 1, lead singer of
Eddie.
Bauhaus. 2, godfather of goth. 3, lead singer of My Chemical Romance. 4, confused old man that likes to take meth and crash his car.
4.
Why
Definitely
is that guy in
4.
the Twilight
4.
movie?
I refuse to
100%.
say that.
His mugshot is so hot.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
Hot as Bowie's.
I'll leave the guy in the
Ooh.
Twilight movie alone.
Next question. Who was the most influential pre-Raphaelite artist? 1, Dante Gabriel Rossetti. 2, Henry Fuseli. 3, Gustave Doré. 4, if you can't buy it on Killstar, it is not art.
4.
Hey, DeRay.
4.
All right, and 2 more questions. What seminal goth band should be credited with creating the scene? 1, Black Veil Brides. 2, Bauhaus. 3, Superheroines. 4, David Bowie.
4. Yeah, also 4.
5, Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson.
Bowie is God.
All right, Black
I'll
Veil
go with
Brides was
him.
the correct answer, so we're going to move on to the last
Wait,
question.
you said him? Him is amazing.
Yeah, we'll go with him.
Him is awful. Moving on. Greatest goth...
Don't make me argue for Marilyn Manson again, people. I'll do it.
Greatest goth
Play
anthem.
back last episode. We don't need to even hear it again.
Greatest goth anthem of all time. 1, Bela Lugosi's Dead. 2, Release the Bats. 3, Unknown Pleasures. 4, My Immortal.
Who's My Immortal by?
Oh,
Yeah, what
God.
is that?
Yeah,
How
I
about-
think that's
how about
definitely
Nymphetamine?
number 4 on that one.
Okay, but I never even hear Bela Lugosi's Dead at clubs. Like, no one plays that.
Because it's 9 minutes
Not
long.
anymore.
Yeah, it's too damn long.
Nobody wants to play
I
that
only ever
long.
play it when I want a smoke break.
Yeah, if you're gonna smoke break.
Like if you play half of Sisters of Mercy songs, are also
Yeah.
about 8 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
They're also good smoke break
And
songs.
for those who don't know,
And
My
people dance the
Immortal...
whole time.
My Immortal was that big hit by Evanescence. Back
Oh,
when
I'm
they thought they
goating
were
for
goth.
that one. That one is off the charts.
Hey now,
All right.
hey now, sing my immortal to me.
Yep. All right, so that was amazing.
I knew he was
we're-
going to sing at least once.
We're gonna. Last part of this quiz is rapid fire goth points. You get 1 point per thing that you've done. All right.
Oh, no.
First, you have paid $11 for a pack of cigarettes to match your outfit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Well, actually, I can't really say yeah because it wasn't $11 because the prices are different here.
All right. 2,
5 cigarettes, you bum them. Come on now.
and this doesn't have to be current. Just past. It could be past tense. Could be at any point in your life. The next one. You have referred to yourself. You have referred to your age in mortal years.
No.
No.
I have
True.
dignity. Thank you.
I'm kind of glad I haven't.
Is there
next
goth
one-
years?
What?
Is there goth years? Can you refer to yourself like I'm 10 goth years old?
That's 2 on the nose for vampires.
Bat years or dog years? When people thinking they're werewolves is the thing.
Next up,
Furries?
you have played dead in public.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is wonderful. Next, you know the answer to the joke. How do you get a goth out of a tree? Does anyone know the answer?
No.
The correct answer is cut the rope. Next question.
Oh shit!
I was gonna say you don't.
I'm gonna use that tonight.
You'd willingly undergo
Oh,
cosmetic
okay.
incisor point sharpening surgery.
Yes.
No, but I did actually file mine when I was a young teenager.
Oh.
Yes, I did.
You get
Well,
you get an extra
I reckon
point for
that
that.
should be an extra point, yeah. No points for me though, because I never did any of that.
As a baby bat, you were disappointed to learn American Gothic was a portrait of 2 farmers.
Yes.
No.
It did cross my mind.
Because, like I said, as a baby bat, we didn't have that term because it's stupid, and we didn't have the term Gothic because it didn't exist in our area. So.
What about Cupcake Goth? You want to go off on
No,
that one
because
again?
I'm in Australia
God.
and we really don't give a shit about American paintings.
I've done that so many times. It's old hat. Tiny, astute
Next.
hat.
But do people realise that American Gothic, the Gothic thing's actually the window?
All right. Anyway, road trip in your circle means slipping into something sorrowful and driving to the cemetery with a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Yes.
That's like Thursday for me.
Yeah, really.
That was usually come down from acid time for us.
Next, you know there are different types of goth, and you're kind of hoping you don't fit into any of them.
Yes.
I think I've already answered this.
Yes, yes. Did I mention I wrote that article that we just
Yeah.
reviewed?
Blocked
Yes,
and
yes.
reported.
Yes.
All right. Next question.
Because
have,
labels are for jars.
have you ever had an emo phase?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
when I
actually.
was younger,
Who were
there
the
was no
yeses?
such thing as
Me.
emo.
Okay. All right.
Emo died in the
It
80s.
lasted like 2 days.
All right. Next question. More than one. I had an emo phase. That's fine. More than
Yeah.
once, a random stranger has asked you if you sharpen your feet.
What?
Your feet?
Why would we sharpen our feet though?
Pointy
Winklepeckers.
shoes.
We should
Oh.
pick some pikes, yeah.
I did get asked
no,
if I painted
not
my
for me.
toenails black.
Mark, stop
I'm
trying to
more
make
of
up
a Docs
imaginary
and Boots
points.
guy, so no.
I should get half a point. For
You
that.
get minus a point just for talking back. Next question.
I'm going to kill you one day.
You set off metal detectors even when you're just trying to get to the pool.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
All right. And next question. Oh, wait, no, I skipped. You are on the hunt for a new fetish because your current one is getting boring.
If
I'll not
you
disclose
take
that
me
information.
shit
Yeah.
on boring-
Bonus points if you tell me what your fetish is.
I wasn't serious then, but...
All right, next. I believe you
Depends.
were.
But I will say yes, boring, yeah. You have to be right up there with the latest fetish, you know? I mean,
Next.
what are kids into nowadays? Is it like, I mean, you've got stuff like tentacle porn, I guess.
Okay,
Would
so
that be a
I go to
fetish?
like
Oh my
I go to
God.
like
People
a
love that
fetish
shit.
sex club like once a month because my friends like
Furries?
perform there. A lot of people are into anal now. Like that's like the one thing that I see a lot of.
Well, then call me a hipster because.
Rosebudding. Rosebudding is like anal
Oh
but
God,
worse.
Rose. That's just a byproduct of the porn industry, though. But
I saw a girl put her foot in a guy's ass.
What?
What? Wow.
A girl put her foot in a guy's asshole.
Oh, I was really hoping I heard that wrong.
Like the whole foot?
Like most of the foot, yeah.
been there, done that. Am I right?
Anal,
We've got 2
footing.
left.
Extreme. You can't call it fisting because it's a foot.
Oh God.
Footing, footsies. We'll call it footsies.
Then you've got things like amputee
Two
insertions
last.
and
All right.
that
Okay.
shit.
Okay. All right. Great. Here we go. Last 2 questions. You know the answer to the joke, how many goths does it take to change a light bulb?
Why would we? We like it.
None, they just party in the dark.
Want to cry in the dark.
Ooh, you guys get a good bonus point for coming up with a better punchline than I did. The correct answer is 3. 1, to change the bulb, and 2, to talk about Lord Byron's grand tour and creative uses of laudanum in a metaphysical environment.
Oh god.
That's beautiful.
And then the last one here is you object fundamentally to this test even though you scored higher than 30 on it.
How do we know?
I don't think I
we
did.
scored higher than 30. You're gonna have to tell us first.
We do trivia instead. I'll win that
This
one.
test
maybe.
is rigged.
I did
It's
trivia
rigged.
both years. I thought we would try something different this time. All right.
It's
Yeah, but I was good at those.
Can we pick a torture device for you, Daniel?
Yeah.
All right, so let me count up the points here. Talk amongst yourselves is pretty close. Let's see here.
I think I lost.
We know it's all bullshit.
Let's talk about how fucked up that test was. Bullshit.
So, ironically, we have a tie for first place. Jez and Joe, you get.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I always lose these things. It's because Michelle isn't
There
here.
should be like a winning question.
I didn't
Yeah.
come up with anything, so we'll have to. All right, maybe you can assign the heretics fork to me for having to put you through that. Let's see.
that.
Wait, does the
Heretics.
heretics work involve
already have
anal?
copies
Because
of
we
the
can't
book.
give that to you.
We both already have a copy of the.
No cash prizes this year because I'm broke as fuck.
That works.
Heretics Fork is a torture device which consisted of a metal piece with 2 opposed bi-pronged forks attached to a belt or strap. On one end of the device, it was pushed under the chin, the other on the sternum, and the strap was used to secure the victim's neck to the tool while the victim hung from the ceiling or was somehow suspended so that they could not sleep. If their heads dropped, the prongs would pierce their throat and chest.
They basically do
Yeah.
that at clubs now, don't they?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, there's also a band called Heretics Fork as well, I think. Oh no, it's a Spun Ranch song. Heretics Fork.
Yeah.
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 All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors.
Hey everybody, welcome. So, I wanted to announce to all of you my new kind of goth. I call it swamp goth. Because I figure if Rihanna can make ghetto goth, then shit, I can make swamp goth. And have you seen that booty? I mean, you could bounce beans off that fine ass all night long. Anyway, I know every kind of goth gotta have its music. I mean, I know all the old shit. I've done my research. And I figure if there are bands that can make Friday I'm in Love and Peekaboo, then I mean Kid Rock, he's got it. It's fine, right? I mean that'd be fine. I wonder, does it gotta be human skulls? I mean, can it be a pig skull or a possum skull? Is that still cool enough? No, I ain't wearing no black lipstick like some faggot. But we don't want it to go to waste, and I figure we're not all born with the blessings of swamp goth, so we'll just put it to a different use. And I know it's not all about the music and the fashion. And I mean, I read. There's, god damn, the hell was that story about that raven? The raven that won't shut the fuck up. Anyway, I love reading, I'm not sure yet what my swamp goth name is gonna be. I'm thinking either Floating Casket or Germ Division, but I can't make up my mind. I love death. I've killed just about every kind of critter you can find in the swamp. I'm just in touch with the darkness inside me. Well, shit. I think some of the darkness inside me just slipped out. Now, I don't know what an ankh is. Probably some commie Nazi shit. But I believe in Jesus Christ, so I wear a cross. In my next video, well, see, I don't own a hearse, but I figure my uncle died in the back of my pickup truck, and we just drove him out to the graveyard in it, so that's some spooky shit, right? And I'm going to do video on how to spray paint your pickup truck black.
I just had to Febreze my room because I smoked a cigarette inside and it smelled like shit, so...
Oh.
You sure it wasn't the foot in your butthole? Oh.
It was actually that, yes, thank you.
Oh my god.
I actually okay, actually, never mind. You don't want to hear that.
No, I do want to hear.
Oh, yes, we do. We have to hear it now.
You started it.
I need to get a new desk chair because I didn't think I had to put a towel down when I was using butt plugs, and now my chair just smells like shit. So.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I told you don't want to hear that.
Wait, are you for real? Me too.
What?
Know what I'm buying you for Christmas?
Should I auction it off? I'm sure there's some sick fuck that listens to Patreon that wants to smell my
Honestly, you'd
asshole.
make a lot of money. I think so.
You should, pimp it out on your YouTube channel.
Someone buy my ass chair.
I want that on a shirt.
Here's our corporate sponsor, the ass chair.
What's the bet the other count buys it?
It's probably a different kind of medieval torture device too.
Yes, let that be a thing.
Moving right along. Next episode. Next news article is titled "Goth is Dead, Long Live Goth," and this is actually from 2005. Part of the reason I picked this was because there's a lot to talk about in there. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Where are we at?
I did cut some paragraphs out. Goth is dead, long live Goth. Next news article.
I think it's kind of cool too that it actually represents something that people think is fairly new.
Yeah.
But it's from all the way in 2005, showing that it's nothing new at all.
Exactly. That was the other reason, because it's like people think they're thinking of something novel, but really that it's all been said before. It's all been argued before.
The dead horse.
Yeah.
Take 42.
But this is at least has a much better vocabulary than the last article we read. So.
Yeah, that's true.
A coherent thought?
Yeah, they're mostly wrong, but at least they're coherent.
Well, that's something at least.
So, all right, here we go. By the end of the 1990s, the post-punk phenomenon known as goth was no longer a specific subculture, but an aesthetic sensibility permeating a vast and more general weave of subculture that in turn informed popular culture. Oh, Jesus Christ. I need to take a breath. All right, goths signs.
Not too much of a breath. Ass chair.
Oh, now I can't put that in the bloopers. I'll have to leave that so people actually get the joke. Maybe I'll put it in the bloopers anyway. Goth signs are ubiquitous from a Nosferatu chic in fashion and Tim Burton films. To the
no
gleaming...
way. No, thank you.
Again with the Tim Burton films.
I'm all right.
2005, remember.
Someone can get me down with a tree from the tree now.
This is Halloween. To the gleaming cyber dungeons and candy-coated gore of video games such as Quake. From the
that have to do with anything?
The pain and ecstasy-based performances of Ron Athey. I don't even know who that is.
Ron Athey.
Athey, who's that?
He's an LAX goth guy. He's in my book, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To the, I guess I should kick myself off the Gothquisition.
Yep,
I haven't read the official manual.
Take your ass chair with you.
To the many variants of heavy metal music. such as death metal, black metal, doom metal, sludge metal, stoner metal. More than a subculture, goth has become a discourse, one simply referred to as the dark side. So this is an argument I still see online, right?
The P, spoopy.
This is kind of like a better formulated version of the previous article we read in a way, because it's about an aesthetic, a mindset, a nebulous dark side, which is so ephemeral you can't really define it, so it can be whatever you want it to be. They kind of made this argument in Post-Millennial Gothic too. I don't know if you guys read that book, but I think she did a much better job. But it was kind of this interpreting goth from a top-down meaning, from like pop culture down, the kind of strained appropriation that pop culture does, and working backwards instead of trying to understand goth from the starting with actual goths and then working your way out. But I always find it confusing when people are using non-subcultural media to tell me what goth is. It's like, we have our own media. Why don't you talk about that? Stoner metal? What?
They'd have to pay attention to something else besides their own limited views.
And this is why people come to our events and request metal.
That's horrible.
Stoner metal in particular.
Sludge and doom.
Dude, Metallica, man! Play Metallica, man!
Is that your...
What do you mean they're not goth? Fuck you!
I think that's the first time I've heard your American impression. That was pretty good.
I was gonna say.
Is that what I
Sort
said?
of like
That's
that
pretty
was
accurate.
Kinda like a stoner.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
So again, this article is from 2005. They say
I've got other American impressions. I may try and slip another one in later. They're not exactly
slip one in me
flattering.
anytime, Joe.
Oh.
Get around, guys. Get around.
The emergence of what art forum... Joe, shut up, Joe. I'm talking now. Daddy's talking.
Did you really just refer to yourself as
You can't tell
daddy?
me to shut up. I'm an American.
The emergence of what art forum dubbed...
It's too late. We've gone off the rails.
We're done with it. Daddy in the ass chair. This is great.
Jesus Christ. I'm shutting the show down. I'm shutting it down. So this is what they're dubbing, quote, new Gothic, which is something I've heard so many times over the years. Within the contemporary visual arts is not surprising. The new Gothic, however, is hardly new given Goth's steadfast persistence in the realm of popular culture. So again, I don't understand why you can't just separate Goth from popular culture or from Gothic architecture or other artistic forms. Again, it's this idea that if anything shares any semblance of aesthetic with goth, no matter how kind of peripheral it is, it's therefore goth. Like, use your fucking brain. Oh my god.
They can't.
Participation star.
Goth's appearance within the visual arts is, in fact, belated relative to its having taken the form of parody, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and farce, Marilyn Manson, with the 4 A's of adolescence.
Whoa. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a parody of goth now?
Apparently.
In 2005, remember.
Yeah, and this is because goth is paired with the 4 A's of adolescence: angst, alienation, anger, and anxiety.
That's just daily life.
And also asshole.
They
missed one.
Goth's matriculation into popular culture is also an acknowledgement that the darker inclinations of youth culture have been made permanent. Yet credit for creating a youth culture fused to and suffused with counter and subcultures ranging from dark to light belongs to a previous generation. In questioning authority, a burgeoning 1960s youth culture was more than eager to adopt alternative belief systems, which included an open flirtation with the occult. Okay, so there's a lot there. So first of all, okay, basically what he's saying is, because goth is so juvenile, it took a lot longer for legitimate art forms to appropriate it, thus making goth legitimate, like the 1960s youth cultures. And then, go ahead.
So much wrong.
I want my money back for having to read, yet crediting for creating the matriculation sentence in popular culture is also an acknowledgement. That whole thing, fuck you. Fuck your face. I'm done.
So what about this? Because he, in the next paragraph, he basically says that goth is identified as a youth culture. Do you still hear people 12 years after this article, calling goth a youth culture?
Or is that kind of gone away? Trying to
have articles in regards to that, or not a youth. The argument was it's not anymore, or I don't know. There's still people on both sides of the spectrum saying, "Oh yes, it is. It's only for the young," and so we the young can call it whatever we want it to be. Goth is what we say it is because it's evolved and we're young and we live it. And then other people are like, "No, now that is not the case."
And living in LA, I don't really hear, like in the real life scene part of it, I don't hear a lot about youth culture because there's such a wide spectrum of age.
The other thing that I was seeing recently is that most of the people who are going out these days are the older people. Like younger people are staying home. So if they're broke, number one, and number two, they prefer to consume their media and actually interact online. So, there's a lot to it. It's just a different mindset. But I've been hearing that basically the older people are the ones that are actually keeping the clubs alive in a lot of cases.
Well,
now,
that's
not universal, but
you also have to define what you mean by young people too, because depending on where you're at, it might only be 21 and up. Because a lot of times I see people like, baby bats aren't going to clubs, they're killing goth, and it's like, well, you have to be 21 or over. Like, what are you expecting?
But most of the goth clubs in LA, like the legit ones, are all 21 and up because they don't want to party with young kids,
The sad thing is, I started going to
they don't know how to
clubs
handle
when I
their
was like 14, but I still had to get a fake ID. You can't really fake ID anymore because all the bouncers scan, and unless you actually have a real 21 and up ID, you're not getting in. So
I find that with we have 18 plus clubs that try and pass themselves off as that iconic goth night. And a lot of the 18-year-olds between the ages of 18 to 21 who come in, they're not looking for the goth club experience. They're looking for desperate escapism and the idea of struggling. Living in LA, they're because they can't afford anything, they can't do anything fun, so they come to free nights, things like that. So they're coming in with a very different attitude than just to have a good time.
I don't know. Underages that used to get into clubs when I was younger, that a lot of them would come when they were underage because they knew the place would let them in. And then as soon as they turned 18, they'd bugger off. You wouldn't see them again.
Yeah.
So their main reason for coming was, it's a place that lets underages in.
It's like the thrill
of... The guy that owned the place was a bit of a sleazeball, but hey.
The thrill of breaking, social norms. Kind of like why people put feet in their buttholes, right?
Well, that's exactly why.
Anywhere else, so they turn up at the local alternative goth club, whatever, and it's like, yay, I'm in a club. It doesn't matter which club, they're in one. But then they'd go and off to whatever subculture they're really into later on. And very few would actually stick it out beyond that point. Which kind of makes sense, because a lot of people, when they're younger, go through the phase thing anyway.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which you have to account for. I think a lot of people don't account for that.
Yeah, true.
So he says, in this respect, the dark streak being signified by these artists is one running from the Manson family murders to the shootings at Columbine High School, And with neither Beatles songs nor the video game Doom as eligible forecasters of violence, it is the unfathomable events themselves that haunt. Goth is an intergenerational accumulation of signifiers, yet forever in search of a signified. Which is weird. Like, he's trying to justify... It's getting a little academic-y here, but he's basically, like, positioning... I think he's positioning signifiers as, like, free-floating agents. Like, they're agentic somehow, and they're looking... And so that's how he's trying to justify the goth as a dark mindset kind of thing.
See, the Manson murders and Columbine had nothing to do with goth, okay? And Beatles songs had nothing to do with goth. And so...
I think this writer is maybe like an older baby boomer or something.
Yeah, he's reaching and kind of like...
What is Doom, though?
If you take a look at this article, it's basically promoting a group exhibition of artwork. And what he's trying to do is make it relevant and group it together under a banner of goth. And
how are we going to get old people with money to come and buy our shit? We've got to have something they can relate to. And don't you just love it when an essay is really advertising in disguise?
That's basically what this is. No,
it's exhibition.
About all the Pretty Corpses is a group exhibition whose work explores the range of subjective sensibilities that has emerged over the past years. The work reflects on this, that, and the other damn things. So you should come and see it because it is amazing.
Get these goddamn beatniks out of my subculture.
Yeah. The work features goth metal poems. Wait, goth metal
poems.
What is wrong with this term?
What the fuck? Is it like Ode to a Tarnished Silver Flying Buttress?
Doesn't have anything to do with a psychedelic meditation on the haunting legacy of frontier violence, also not goth. I mean, all this shit, he's just like lumping it together. Okay, it's dark, it's spooky, let's call it goth, everybody come to the show.
And but the thing is, people do that without promoting a show because they just want to be goth.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
And then they look at bullshit like this.
And it's a goth metal poem.
They'll read something like this and say, hey, this person used multiple syllabic words, so therefore I'm justified in my belief, even though I have no idea what he was talking about.
Wow.
And man,
I can't even manufacture the rage to say repugnant properly here.
Well, also, you've been up for 24 hours, so...
Yeah, the sad thing about it is toward the end, it's like, despite its explicit anti-authoritarian sentiments, goth is more legible as a cultural phenomenon than a political phenomenon. As for the question as to whether these times are darker than any other, theory of civilization's decline are as old as those of progress. Oh yeah, motherfucker, try 11 years later, bitch. Okay? I really want to,
that's a good
see
point.
what he has to say now.
He has no idea what's to come.
And I don't think
are darker than any other. How about
you thought 9/11 bad was bad? Oh no.
I don't think goth is, well, I mean, maybe you guys disagree. I don't think it's explicitly anti-authoritarian either. It's kind of because it's kind of I think he mentions counterculture at some point, which kind of implies that
goth doesn't really stand for anything politically.
But at the same time, in a lot of ways, you have to take a look at where we were when we started out. We were basically doing the fuck whatever we wanted, dressing the way we wanted, saying, screw you people. We're going to appear as we like, dance how we like, do what we like, listen to what we like. And so in that respect, yes, indeed, it was definitely counter to the straight, conformist culture of the day. Indeed. And it's still, to this day, should be. But the interesting thing is now where it's being mass marketed back to us. The mainstream society has finally caught up to us, and they're like, yeah, now we have this really cool thing that you would have made yourself 40 years ago. Buy it.
Right. Yeah, and I think my distinction there is just that goth doesn't exist or isn't defined by whatever is counter. So it's not like mainstream culture is doing this, therefore we are doing the opposite just because we want to break social norms.
It's not strict reactionary. It is we appreciate these things, and so therefore we cultivate these things. We cultivate this and it all based around a music subculture,
Right. And it
started off and it perpetuated and it grew from there, and perhaps people are arguing, oh well, it's grown beyond the music now, you can't control this, and it's like, well, actually, it's not like these bands are still making music, more bands are still making music in a similar vein, in the same vein true to that original spirit. So why just call your stuff, your new stuff, something different? Just do that. Why not do that?
Why are people so afraid of creating something new?
And that perhaps is the entire crux of the matter right there. We've got to jump on the bandwagon. We've got this entire monopoly mindset for pretty much everything. It's like, oh, well, if we call it goth, then of course it'll be popular because there's already a ready-made fan base in there.
Yeah, they're afraid of being rejected by making their own genre and making their own, I guess, subculture in a sense, so that's why they just lump it into ours.
Yeah, so it's like we can call it swamp goth or something like that.
This is the problem with not having boundaries that are accepted and trying to pass goth off as like anything can be goth.
Right. Unicorns.
Right.
All right, that means it's time to... Someone's using the microwave.
Sorry.
Sorry,
man. I was like, I'll be sneaky and hold the phone away from everything.
Preparing the next torture device.
Yes, time to pick.
You are totally blowing the mystique, though, because everybody knows goths don't eat. They just, live on a diet of cloves and snake bites or whatever.
Yeah.
So absinthe.
And alcohol.
I've never had a snake bite before.
What?
Snake bite in black.
I like audioses, though, because those are so good.
Snake bite's awesome. Snake bite in black is for wusses who can't handle it.
Oh, excuse me. All right, torture device time. You've got 3 new options. Here we go. The first one is tongue terror. The second is crocodile shears, and the third is the Spanish donkey.
Spanish donkey.
Tongue.
The Spanish donkey.
Yeah, we're going with the Spanish donkey.
Did you say croc shears?
Yeah. All right, but I think we went over the tipping point for votes for Spanish donkey there. So Spanish donkey.
Yes. All right.
One of the torture devices during the Spanish Inquisition. This is probably one of the most gruesome of them all. The victim is put astride naked on a donkey-like apparatus, which is actually a vertical wooden board with a sharp V-wedge on top of it. After that, the torturer would add varying weights to the victim's feet until finally the wedge sliced through the victim's body.
No.
Nice.
Wow.
They tear you a new A and a new B and a new C.
It's fantastic. You can brush my hair.
Alright, so for this next section, Cemetery Confessions, I'll be asking a series of questions in which you will have to confess. And I guess what I'll do is just call on you one by one in whatever order you are in my Skype, just so we're not all talking over each other. Yes, this should be fun. So let's start with a more of a fun one first. All right, we're gonna play Fuck, Marry, and Kill. The options are Patricia Morrison, Peter Murphy, and Johnny Slut. Mark,
shit! Oh,
wow.
Yeah, Mark, you're first.
Okay. Marry Patricia Morrison, fuck Johnny Slut, kill Peter Murphy.
Alright.
Oh.
Jez?
I would just have to opt out of this one because they're all lovely people.
Oh my god, Jez. Get off my fucking Gothquisition. Andy?
That's so great.
Marry Peter, fuck Patricia, kill Johnny.
Oh my god, he's gonna be on my show next year. I'm telling him.
I was gonna say you better not speak ill of Johnny Slut.
This is not fair. I just love
Joe,
Peter Murphy so much.
You have spoken enough. Silence, Joe.
Wow, you're not gonna like my answer.
Answer, Joe. Marry Marilyn Manson, fuck Marilyn Manson. Kill Peter
Kill
Murphy.
Johnny!
Okay.
Boom! Dead! Fuck Peter Murphy, and I guess marry Patricia.
Alright, Danny?
okay. Everyone knows that Johnny Slut is the love of my life, besides Andy Sex Gang.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Marry Johnny Slut, fuck Peter Murphy, and then kill Patricia.
Boo!
You cannot kill Patricia.
Zachary?
Yes, dear.
Your turn.
Fuck Johnny, marry Peter Murphy, kill Patricia.
No!
Hell yeah!
My answer was marry Patricia, fuck Johnny Slut, and kill Peter Murphy.
Same as mine, basically.
Next question. Who is your least favorite goth YouTuber and why? Mark?
Oh, I'm ready for this.
I know she isn't, and I apologize if any of you are friends with her.
No apologies, this is the Gothquisition.
Okay. Sebastian Columbine.
Oh, okay.
I can't stand that pink shit.
She's not goth.
Jez?
Okay, I don't watch goth YouTubers. I'm sorry.
Old
I just
motherfucker.
Don't. You are right.
Andy?
I am grandma. I'm goth mom.
I don't really
I don't
either.
have to.
Alright. Joe?
Toxic Tears.
And why?
Why? Is where to begin. Oh god, where the fuck do I begin? Okay, this is the thing that gets me most of all. She has merchandise she sells, and she sells that stupid blingy, you know how people get those words like in pink coloured crap they wear around their neck, like gangster bling, but it's like all drippy and shit? And she's got one that saying Toxic Tears. I mean, that's just fucked! Who is going to wear that shit? I mean, what idiot buys that crap? Repugnant!
I've just lost half of my podcast audience.
Not all of it. That's
Yeah,
not
we're gonna
all
kill
of
our
it.
whole
There's more
audience
reasons.
just with this one question.
One, it's no.
Danny, your turn.
Is
Okay, I'm
Still
gonna agree
going?
with Joe. I don't watch.
I will save some rage for later.
Okay, go ahead there.
If I use it all up now, I'll have nothing left for battle.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with Joe because she has like the worst style in my opinion. I don't really watch Goth YouTube, but from what I've seen, like I just can't. No, I'm good.
All right, Zachary.
Oh, are you ready? You want to lose the rest of your fan base right now?
Yes.
Okay, let me light a cigarette because I'm ready to go in.
Let me get
It's
my
Black
bottle
Friday.
of lube out. Oh, Black Friday. Okay, there we go.
It's Black Friday. If there's one person in this goddamn scene who has messed up everything for the rest of us, it's Black Friday.
All right.
Capitalizing off the commercialization of the degradation of the Gothic subculture right there.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Gothquisition, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that felt so good.
I love you, Zachary.
Yay!
Oh man, I'm gonna need this smoke.
This is all tongue-in-cheek, mind you.
Was it good for you?
That's our big disclaimer. This
I'm
is all
thinking it was
tongue-in-cheek.
good for you.
What? I said no apologies.
So good you needed the smoke.
She got upset at me because I didn't know who Crux Shadows were, and I was like, sorry, I don't listen to people who have bad hair, so just gonna put that out there.
She didn't know who Face and the Muse
True
were.
Shadows.
I remember
are a
that.
Decent band, but
But she knew who Crux Shadows was, so...
My least favorite goth YouTuber is, we're going to make this a trifecta here, and I'm going to say Toxic Tears. Not necessarily because of her as a person. I don't really know much about her as a person, but I don't think she's goth, plain and simple. Anytime she talks about goth, it's always elitist this and elitist that, and goth is whatever you want it to be, and don't tell me who I am as a goth, etc., etc. So that's my pick.
Is that who you were playing on your television when I visited you?
No, that was someone else.
Oh, okay.
That was DJ. I forget who that was. Next question. What goth band most people like do you dislike? Mark.
Shit.
I haven't heard of that band.
I've heard a lot of their stuff lately, though.
I'm not huge into Specimen.
Oh.
I know. Fuck me, right?
Fair point.
Cemetery Confessions. Jesus.
All that time at the Batcave, they didn't release a single album. I kind of agree.
Jez?
See, the problem is that everybody's got an idea. I don't know. I can't actually think of one right now, unfortunately.
All right. Andy?
Builds of the Nephilim.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Joe, do you have anyone other than Specimen?
The Cure.
What?
Early or late
isn't
era.
That I hate them. I just do not particularly care for them.
Oh my god.
Everyone's like, ooh, The Cure. And
Yeah.
fuck Love Cats.
Oh, I hate
Fuck
that
it.
song. I hate that song
Fuck
too.
They have like a
Love
billion
Cats,
other songs
fuck it.
though.
Yeah, it was
Well,
like
they've got
early
some
or
songs
late
that are
Cure.
alright, but I don't particularly care for them as a whole. Yet people go nuts for them.
Well, yeah.
There's going to
Danny.
be somebody I hate. I just can't.
Okay, so this
It
isn't
could be
really
worse. I
like...
could have said David Bowie.
Let's not start that all over again,
Yeah,
please.
no,
Please,
no.
Jesus.
Yeah, people just refer to the last episode, guys.
All right, Danny, go ahead.
Okay, so this isn't really a goth band, but it's played at goth nights. So Depeche Mode,
Oh,
can't
no, you
stand.
didn't. No, you
Can't
didn't.
stand.
Oh, yes.
Girl, no, you didn't.
My bios on like most of my like other profiles besides Instagram and like my dating profiles is let me passionately tell you about how Depeche Mode ripped off Fad Gadget.
No way.
So yes,
No way.
yes.
They did.
Girl,
Danny.
we can't be
They
friends
totally
anymore.
did.
Danny, keep digging your
Fad
hole.
Gadget are so
Andy's gonna whip your
underrated.
ass.
Yeah, we can't be friends anymore.
I would let Andy whip my
I sense
ass.
a
That would be
fist
so
fight.
cool.
Patreon exclusive. Let's work it out.
Yeah, WGT next year, Goth
Yeah.
versus Goth.
Oh my god.
You would sell so many tickets. I'll just leave it at that. Zachary.
Hey, let's do it.
All right.
If I don't like them, I don't listen to them, and I don't remember the name.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I
Very good
don't.
point.
Mine would be Masquerade and Virgin and Veil because she cannot fucking sing.
And they're also shitty ass people. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's
And
what I've
also,
heard.
who the hell are they?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Next, what long run? Let's see. No, that's dumb. Okay, is Death Rock goth? Mark.
Sure.
Jez.
Death Rock is Death Rock.
Andy.
No, not goth.
Joe.
I mean, I got called both plenty of times, but you know.
Joe.
No, but it does fall under the umbrella of acceptable bands that are played at an authentic goth night.
Like post-punk. I would call it post-punk.
Some post-punk is acceptable. Some
Danny.
dark wave is acceptable. You know, things like that.
I guess not, but I mean, I don't care much, so.
Yeah, see, the thing is that genres weren't so well defined. People weren't so
That
high
is a good
back
point.
in the day, and so the thing is these days, yes, everybody's like, this is this genre, and if you
Yeah.
call it something different, you are wrong.
Everyone's
that's-
a genre Nazi.
That's how we get Marilyn Manson as a goth band, though. So be careful there.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying Death Rock is Death Rock. So that's why I'm going to say Death Rock is Death Rock.
Zachary.
No.
Okay. All right. Are you allowed to be a goth if you like Valor more than Roz? Mark.
Fuck no and die.
Yes.
Oh, you're asking me? No.
Yeah. Andy.
I'm being.
I don't agree with them, but I guess you can still be a goth if you think that.
All right, Joe.
Time to go to school, bitches. Right. My first exposure to Christian death was to Valor. Because at the time, in the clubs, that was the stuff that was new. This was back when Christian death was still goth. And later, I got exposed to the Ros Williams stuff earlier. So, as far as I'm concerned, they are both just as legit as each other until he started playing metal.
Danny.
School's over.
Absolutely not, and he's a wannabe pirate ass. Like, he looks like that, so. Sorry.
Zachary.
I'm surprised they even know what goth is, if that's the question.
Ooh. Burn.
You people are prejudiced against Australians.
You just have bad taste. Don't break down an entire country with your questionable understanding of the culture.
Leave me, mate, Valor alone.
Slightly different than the goth YouTuber question. If you don't have a different answer, that's fine. But who is your least favorite goth celebrity and why? Mark.
Ooh.
Goth celebrity? Like, define celebrity.
Yeah.
Like,
You define it however you want to.
Like public figure who, I guess, passes
A
themselves.
goth who is famous.
Oh.
well, obviously this person is not goth, but has been was once a part, I guess, of the industrial scene. Would be Andy from Combi Christ.
Ooh, okay.
I was like, what?
I wouldn't even consider him, but sure.
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
Jez?
And once again, the whole idea of goth celebrity is just kind of weird to me at this point because
Jez is officially my least favorite goth celebrity. Andy? No.
Voltaire. Voltaire, goodbye.
oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shots
Okay.
fired.
Goodbye.
Joe?
Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
God.
Get
Oh
out.
my
Bomb
God.
is dropped.
How you
Who's your
feel?
least favorite goth celebrity now, Daniel?
Joe. Definitely Joe. You weeaboo poser. Danny.
I'm just gonna be consistent
wish.
and go with Depeche Mode. Thanks.
What?
Whoa!
Girl!
Could a band be a celebrity?
Girl.
At least name Morrissey or something. I mean,
Yeah.
Morrissey would have been my second choice because he's just a dick.
Yeah. I hope you never meet Andy in real life, because... Zachary?
There will be blood.
We actually
real
have
life.
met in real life.
We hung out.
She came to my DJ night.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, but she didn't have this information before.
We didn't talk about the Depeche Mode. It's better we don't.
Zachary?
Oh, I said Morrissey.
Morrissey, okay. And mine would be Adora Batbrat.
Oh shit, I forgot about her.
What? She's famous?
I mean, people know her. She was really famous back in the early 2000s, I think. Or mid 2000s was when she was more popular.
Oh, that was like before she like dropped the whole. I'm not goth anymore.
Well, she uses the term upper class goth.
It's like, well, if you weren't goth, then I guess you never were goth.
And then
cold water to the burn.
Last question, anyone can answer. Why do you hate baby bats, you elitist prat?
I don't hate baby bats, so...
Why are you lying on the Gothquisition?
See, I hate the term baby bat because it's condescending. And the thing is if they're going out there and they're actually researching the subculture and they're supporting the subculture, then they deserve a little bit more respect than baby bat. And if somebody would have called me that to my face when I was in my early teens, I probably would have tried to cut them. So there is that. But on the other hand, if you're calling somebody a baby bat because they are one of these people who is new in the scene and therefore think that goth is everything is goth, then I would hate them merely because of that assumption. And the fact that they can just feel like, I have anointed myself goth, and that is all that is needed. That is all that is necessary. I don't have to research the subculture. I don't have to research the music. I don't have to respect what has come before me. That I would hate, yes.
On that note, actually, that leads right into the last little bit here, and this will be a quick one. It's not really an article. It's just some posts on Tumblr, and I refuse to call Tumblr a source for articles. So this was Angela Benedict reblogged this because it was so ridiculous, and I thought it would be fun to get in the last kind of little...
You mean we actually got a third article in for a change? I believe
before we do this... Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel, I have to leave you. Yes.
Goodbye, Mark.
I must go tend to business. But
bye, Mark.
Goodbye.
Thank you for.
I will see you all next year.
Hit your ass on the way out.
Thanks for being a.
I'm going to a club tonight. I'm gonna look for baby bats and just beat them up because we did this.
Posers.
You've instilled an anger in me.
You see my poster over there, motherfucker?
Oh, I'm not allowed to say poser anymore, aren't I?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
elitist.
God.
That's elitist. And gatekeeper.
I'm gonna flaunt my elitism tonight. So.
Gatekeeper.
Thanks.
All right.
Watch gatekeeper.
All right.
Get out, Mark. Get out there and make the world.
See
a
you
worse
guys
place.
later.
See you later.
I will.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I've got like 10 minutes. Is that okay? Okay. You want to come say hi? No? Okay, that's fine. All right, so this last little bit we could get in with the, what is elitism kind of thing. So someone on the internet called Baby Doll DN said, you want the goth subculture to continue existing, then accept that not everyone can be an 80s goth or a 90s goth. Those times are past. There will be 2000s goths and 2010s goths, and hopefully goths for many more years to come. And there will always be differences, and the subculture is going to evolve. Stop shitting on current goths just because... No? Okay.
She said scub culture. Scub culture. That's a
Yeah.
difference.
I don't want no scrubs.
I don't want no scub culture.
No scubs. Goth, stop shitting on current goths just because you can't change and are suffocating in your stagnation and elitism.
Oh, gosh, I'm just
Fighting words.
Okay, well, she obviously watched the 40 Years of Goth video, because, she's going by, or what is it, decade,
That's so true.
So what do you guys think about that? Like, in general, the sort of goth evolving, are people like us just too elitist to understand that cultures change, or are the baby bats wrong? I'm not wrong. It's the children who are wrong.
Baby Dalton.
You
We
cannot
have a
evolve if you
message.
don't have a foundation to evolve from.
Exactly.
Okay? So
Yeah.
you have to know the basics
Yeah.
before you have to be able to walk. You have to know your ABCs before you can form the sentences and big words like scub culture. So, the idea is
Scub culture, yeah. Sorry, I just opened the article and it's there. Scub culture. I've got to remember to use that every time now.
Yeah, let Jez finish
like
her sentence.
it.
Let Jez finish her sentence, Joe.
Sorry.
evolution requires a foundation to evolve from. You can't just steal the term and make it mean anything you want. Okay? So that's what it is. And if that is elitism, then fuck yes, I'm elitist. Whatever.
I don't think that's the problem though. It's like being elitist is just contradicting someone now when they're trying so hard to just make up whatever they want. And then they're surprised that they're not seeing the results they want. Like, oh, why don't people like me? Why don't I have friends? It's because you're making up bullshit just so you can feel special for 12 seconds. And then you have to ruin everything to keep feeling special.
Right. And when they keep making up that bullshit too, they like to pretend that they've been in the scene for so much longer. Like, no, just fucking own up to that you've just found out about us, you know? Like, don't try to make all these intricate, like, lies.
You know,
To tell you how common it is for them to do this, like how much we've lost really as like a goth culture or whatever. They're comfortable saying they don't know anything about it. They're comfortable opening articles and posts with blatantly saying, I didn't know anything about goth culture.
Yeah, it's so wrong.
And it's like,
I'm going to tell you,
and that's fine.
If you did that back in the day, you would be like, okay, so you're admitting ignorance? That's like admitting you are a poser.
It's specific. You were going
Somebody
back to the
did bring it up earlier about the fact that intelligence used to be a highly looked upon thing, and nowadays it's like, I don't care. It's just I totally like goth, even though I don't know anything about goth. It's just that's how I feel, you know. But and that is just not acceptable. It's once again, call it something different, not something goth. Just call it something completely fucking different.
And elitism, elitism is specifically what you were saying, Zachary, used as an ad hominem attack. Because if she had said that, everything up until you're stagnating in elitism, then she has an argument there and we can have a conversation about it. But she's specifically using that word to shut down any conversation because you can't tell her that she's wrong.
Right.
There are younger goths who know more about the current state of gothic music right now than I can ever hope to know. They have the time, they have the energy to go research the latest band, the releases that just dropped like yesterday. They have encyclopedic knowledge, and I had that in the 80s when I first got into the scene. I voraciously consumed everything I could, and now we have this wonderful internet and it is at our fingertips, but there are so many different sources that I gladly admit and acknowledge the fact that there are younger goths who are very, very versed in the scene, and these are the people who should actually have their YouTube channels rather than let me show you how to do a smoky eye a la goth or something. Or
for the 50th time, no less.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is no, I'm not stagnating. I'm not suffocating. I'm not trying to keep the next generation down. I'd love to be able to learn from them because they've got the time to be able to cull this stuff that I don't necessarily have. I know certain bands. I'm not necessarily going to be out there in their particular scene getting their cool local band because they're going to hear it first because they're closest, not me. So put that shit out. Let's hear that. But not give so much time to the cute people the same.
And Jez is gone.
We lost you,
She
Jez.
fades out. She's so fucking angry. She just like faded out.
She melted her Skype.
Oh
Something
god.
I'd like to add. At the same time, knowledge isn't what it was, because it is so easy to learn now. So experience actually takes a precedent, I think, nowadays. I.e., you want people that are actually going out, participating in their local scene, and doing things. That trumps just hanging around on the internet, being a genre Nazi and rattling off 100 bands or whatever just because you happen to have researched who they are. Nothing replaces seeing the band in person.
But you can't always do that.
That is true.
Is my back or not?
You're back. We're going to wrap it up here, though, because I have to go. We'll end with the torture device. You guys can pick it. We've got the Ling Chi, the Scaphism, and the boots.
Boots.
The boots!
All right, 3 for boots. We'll go with that. Historical accounts have described the boots as the most severe and cruel punishment in the world.
Oh,
With this method, iron or wooden boots would be placed upon the victim's legs, and a solid wedge would be inserted between the legs and the walls of the boots. A blow from a sledgehammer would drive the wedge deeper into the boot, bringing an excruciating amount of pain to the victim.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
All right.
Death by fashion. Or torture by fashion. Fashion is pain.
Well, thank you, Gothquisitioners, for joining me for another year of shitting on the internet. It was a lot of fun. I'll have links to where everyone can find you guys on the internet in the show notes if anyone wants to check that out. And if you're listening on the podcast, stick around. We've got some more news and stuff coming up after this. But thank you guys again so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Yay! Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
How long do we have to sit here for?
Until?
I've got things to do.
Hard cheese. Doesn't matter.
But what are we actually doing?
We're just reminding people of the presence of Goth.
Wankers.
See? This is important. It's gonna be summer soon. I hate that.
Are Goths allowed to take their jumpers off in the summer?
No.
It's just that it's going to be really hot, and when Nan's bought me an England top, I'd quite like to wear it.
Well, you can't. You can't expose your body as a Goth. You'd look really stupid.
Have a cockle.
I'm busy.
My dad wants to take the family to Centre Parks next month. He's been working really hard for this, and I just wondered whether, as a Goth, I'll be able to participate in water sports.
No, you can't. You can't touch water.
But I find myself looking forward to the wave machine.
You won't go. You'll stay here with me.
But
Goth won't allow.
I'm going for a paddle.
See you in hell.
Well, if you've made it this far and haven't written us an angry email like some people did last year, I'd just like to reiterate that this episode is largely tongue-in-cheek. I kind of prod the Gothquisitioners and myself beforehand into playing into these elitist stereotypes that the internet expects of us and of other people that get called elitists, and kind of try to get them angry and worked up beforehand so it's easier to slip into that character. That said, if you noticed, we also make fun of ourselves and we make fun of each other in an effort to harken back to the 90s when this self-deprecating humor and biting sarcasm used to put other Goths down was more accepted as part of just kind of the catty, over-dramatic pastiche of the Goth scene. So yeah, while certainly our opinions, our actual opinions, are in there somewhere, they were purposely tortured and kind of stretched beyond the generally more charitable views. So all that said, if you still are suffering from a case of the butt hurts and an inability to process that vein of humor, I would be happy to have a reasoned, open-minded discussion with you if you do want to email the show in regards to any of the topics that we discussed, to give my actual views and have that kind of dialogue. I did that last year with the emails we got, and no one ever wrote me back because I guess they just assumed we were dicks in general and didn't expect kind of a kind and open-minded response. Just wanted to throw that out there. All right, so announcements for next year. We are going to be changing the format of the show. Now, I did a Patreon video explaining this and also talking about what guests we're going to have on next year. That's for Patreon members only, but I will say that when we start next year changing the format, what we're going to do is split the show in half, essentially. And one of the episodes will come out on the 2nd of the month, which is when it normally does, except for this episode. And the other episode will come out around halfway through the month, 2 weeks after that. And what we're going to do is, with the first episode, will be Mark and myself and another guest, usually someone who's been on the show before, and we'll cover the news, we'll cover an album review, we'll do sinister suggestions, and kind of have a little chat about general goings on in the goth scene. And then the episode in the middle of the month will be focused on a discussion with a new guest. Some of those are going to be topic focused discussions like you've seen previously. Some of those will be straight up interviews with guests that I feel don't get interviewed, haven't had interviews that deserve them. And that's how we're going to split it up. What this means for you, the listener, is you'll be getting episodes more frequently. The titles of the episode will be more specific. So if you go into, let's say, the Goth YouTube episode, it takes about an hour and a half to actually get to the Goth YouTube discussion. And the first half, we talk about aging in the goth scene, and that was not in the title, so maybe you didn't expect that. That kind of throws some people off, so you'll be getting what you're coming in for, and you'll have shorter shows. They'll still add up to about 3 hours, but you'll get shorter shows at a time, which is another complaint I hear from people saying that the show is too long. So we're going to change it up. We're always trying to improve the show, always looking to adapt to the feedback we get and create something that is useful, meaningful, and entertaining for the community that we love so much. Speaking of Patreon, I would like to, of course, thank our Patreon members. This show would not exist without them. If you guys stopped donating everything tomorrow, the show would go away. So we are so immensely grateful for everyone who has decided to donate. We did lose some Patreon members this month, but I'm going to go ahead and read everyone who donated up through November rather. We're going to start with our beautiful founders level Patreon members. Those would be Luna, Esmeralda, Abigail, and Elle. Thank you so much for your continued support. Our Nocturnal Council consists of Kyra, Natalie, Michelle, Ariel, Azzy, Michelle, Trey, Isabel, Nephilim, Angela, Necromancy Radio, Ivy, Skiamakos, I'm certain I'm still saying your name incorrectly, Anthony, Kay, and Heather. And then at the Crow's Call level, we have Robin, Angela Benedict, Sarah, Esther, Ambergeddon, Jillian Venters, Nora, Emma, Such Horrors, Dolly Dagger, Paula, Kelly, Dom, Noir, Elizabeth, Marco, David, Brenda, Christian, Fifth Dream, Alex, Shelley, Caroline, Rose, Eternal Winter, Bronwyn, Angel, Anne, Heather, Laurel, Jen, Joseph, Elizabeth, Lennon, and Lyrillith. If you enjoy the show, if you want to get some bonus content, videos, early access to stuff, head over to patreon.com/cemeteryconfessions, and you can sign up for as little as $1 to get access to all the extra content. If you sign up at a higher level, you can get extra bonuses like having your name right on the show, getting t-shirts or early access to podcast episodes, that kind of thing. Next month, January, there will be no episode as we are taking our yearly hiatus. This is the time we take to plan ahead for the next year, to start doing the research, start scheduling guests, start making notes, that kind of thing. If you are a Patreon member, you will be getting a special Patreon-only episode of Cemetery Confessions. It's probably sometime in the middle of January because of how the schedule worked out for the Gothquisition. Kind of threw everything off, but you'll be getting one of those in January, and then we will be resuming with the brand new, improved, hopefully, schedule for Cemetery Confessions in February. If you're looking for more content, you missed the show, you can check out our YouTube channel, or you can check out the Belfry Network, where we host several other goth and subculture-related podcasts that you may be interested in during the hiatus. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us for a couple hours. I hope you had fun. We will see you soon. So until next time, stay dark.
The preceding program is a member of the Belfry, a network of blogs, podcasts, and videos for the darkly inclined. Go to thebelfry.rip for more information.
We need material for the outtakes.
We were talking about cheap booze before, so.
Gratuitous material for outtakes commencing.
I want a Four Loko right now. That would be so cool.
Eesh.
A what?
A Four Loko? It is.
What exactly is that?
It's amazing.
It's
alcoholic
awful.
energy drink.
All I know is I've heard that it's banned.
No. They don't have the energy in it anymore because it got banned because it was killing people. But like now it's just like a cheap malt liquor that's so cool.
It's fucking
That
gross.
sounds like a Jaeger bomb in a can.
No, it's way less classy than that.
It's like 14% alcohol. It's amazing. And
Wow.
anyone who disagrees is wrong at Daniel.
But it's not even malt liquor flavor, right? It's like pop flavored or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like
like-
energy drink flavored or something. I've never had one, but
Like sour apple, peach, blue. There's a blue flavor. I don't really know
Oh
what
my
blue
God.
flavor is, but
Blue is extreme.
well, of course. Hey, they had blue Boone's Farm too.
It was
So.
made in the 90s, so it had to have an extreme flavour.
Yeah, X. Flavor X. For
There you
extreme.
Anybody see that? What was it? That crazy lady who was saying that Monster energy drinks were literally from Satan.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
she
saw
was like,
that.
You mean my mom?
that's so goth, Mark.
My mom literally gave me shit for taking a can of Monster into her house because she thought it was the devil.
Someone sponsored it?
And it's
Agnes?
I'm gonna play the Swamp Goth video that Nephilim did.
Nice.
see, I only got through like 5 seconds of that.
Oh.
So
It
did
was
anybody
brilliant.
else actually watch it?
I
No,
thought it was
all-
pretty
No.
funny, yeah.
I haven't seen
Brilliant.
it. Describe it to me.
He's basically making fun of everyone who says it's kind of like Joe's totally goth article. You know, I'm this kind of goth because I want to change goth to be what I want it to be.
So he is.
Okay.
So he makes up like a hillbilly goth kind of thing.
No, not
Yeah.
Nephilim.
Yeah, it is pretty
It's
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
So are we
Okay, I'll
actually
check
having
it
a
out.
break? Or what?
Yeah. Do you guys want to grab coffee? We could take like 2 minutes.
Two
Or-
minutes.
Yeah, I need to use the bathroom really
Okay.
bad.
You've got
Okay.
2-minute
Okay.
pee break.
2
Minute
minute
back.
2 minutes to make up some outtakes.
So, how's everybody been? Sorry, I haven't been in the chat.
You've been good.
You been good?
Went
That's good.
last night, and it was fun.
Hmm.
Sort of still. I'm drinking again now.
Yeah, boy.
I should go get like a bottle or something when I finish this. I had a bottle of Jim Beam. I had a little bit left, and I'm drinking the last of it now.
I was supposed to get wine, but I have to work after this. So,
I have cheap, shitty wine. I'm
No.
gonna drink.
for we're gonna drink ourselves to death, we get quality.
I'll be drinking tonight. Saving it for the club.
Oh.
I've had a couple of cans of Red Bull, so that's helpful.
It's usually vodka and Red Bull for me. I plan to die an early death.
I found vodka very angry. And we don't drink vodka anymore. That was fun to learn. Is vodka and an angry Zachary do not mix. So we're never going to find out what tequila does to me.
I drank a few tequilas.
See, I don't get angry when drinking. If I'm angry and I'm drinking, I sober up. That's all that happens.
I get jovial.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, hi.
Hi. I'm a fat guy. We get jolly.
Oh gosh, does your face get red too?
Probably.
Do you
Yeah.
deliver presents to your friends and family?
When you're drunk?
Well, my Christmas thing this year was an MS painted like elf picture.
Mm.
Plus, I got that rum
Did you say
costume that I
MS
found
Paint?
at the op shop.
Yeah,
MS
said
Paint.
Paint.
And I found a costume at the op shop of a rum bottle. It was like $3. It was like, yeah, you bet I'm buying that for $3. And I got a doctored up version of it and turned it into an eggnog bottle to use as another Christmas picture thingy. Also using MS Paint and various other crappy skills.
Is Danny back yet? Cinch it off, Danny. Cinch it.
Hello. I am back.